People, it's Miss Laureen from Black versus the Board of Education, and I am standing in the Jones Hall Sims House at the African American Museum of History right here in Washington, D.C. If you've never been here, let me just tell you, it is definitely a sight to see. There are a lot of emotions as you're kind of going through and you're realizing just exactly what this country has done to Black people in particular. You're reading about kind of like the historical things, that how they've tried to keep Black people separate, how they didn't want more than 5 together because they didn't kind of know what they were planning. Yeah, I'm a ball of emotions right now, but I'm hoping that we can talk about it.
Baby,
We in here, yeah, we in here, 'cause we been.
y'all better get comfortable with saying black.
We in here, yeah, we in here,
Black versus the Board of Education.
'cause we came here, rid of us now. We in here, yeah, we in here, 'cause we came here, rid of us now. And you know that we won't ever go, 'cause we been here.
That's why we are indeed a whole mood.
That's it.
We are absolutely a whole mood, and we are so happy to be joining you on a Wednesday this week. Sorry, I know we're a little tardy to the party, but we were in DC on Monday and I just could not make it happen. But I'm glad that I'm here today because we got a lot to talk about. We're going to keep it a buck. We are the Blacks, and we'll talk about what exactly that means to us and what it should mean to you, because I think we're a little tired of the shenanigans at this point. So before we get started, I want to at least kick it to my co-hosts and let them introduce themselves before we get the conversation started. Miss Jada, today we starting with you.
Hey y'all, my name is Jada. I am a homeschooled senior in the Sacramento area, and it's so good to be back. Can't wait to talk about today's topics.
Miss Anaya.
Hey everyone, my name is Anaya, and I'm
You gonna say
currently-
my name is Anaya?
Yeah.
You forgot?
Let me start over. Hey
Okay.
everyone, I'm Anaya, and I'm a senior in high school.
Jalen.
My name is Jalen, and I am a college student, and we have a lot to talk about today.
And you better believe it. Samuel.
Hi, my name is Samuel. You probably already knew that. I'm in 6th grade. Yeah.
All right. Thank you for being here again. And of course, last but not least, the anchor of the crew, Miss Melissa. What's up?
Hi everyone, my name is Melissa and I am a junior in Southern California.
So listen, I've been talking about y'all all week as we were at the National Black Child Development Institute. I was talking about how fabulous you were, and everybody was asking me just if I thought that y'all could bring it on these topics that we're going to talk about today. I said you had no idea the type of young people I hang out with. So we're going to go ahead and get started because we're going to try to fit it into this hour-long conversation. I want to take it down to Southern California, Melissa, in your neighborhood. People have been behaving badly. Apparently, there was some audio that was leaked, and I didn't put it up for Tevin to play it for y'all. But basically, in this audio, you had 4 Latino, 3 council members, one who was the head of the Labor Federation. That's all the workers in that area. That they decide who gets what jobs, right? They were conspiring in a meeting that somebody, God bless them, taped. So that other people could know what they were up to. They basically referred to a Black child as a little monkey. They said that they wanted to take him around the corner and beat him and teach him a little lesson. And at the time, I believe this child was either 2 or 3. And they said that he didn't have any home training, that they were his adopted fathers were raising him as a white boy. And then they went on to, and we always talk about the different things that folks have done to keep Black people in a certain caste system, right? So can y'all remind for the audience what type of things has this country done, the people in power done to keep Black people at the bottom? Give me one.
Redlining.
Uh-huh.
Segregation.
Uh-huh.
Ooh.
You got to be quicker than that. Melissa.
Slavery.
Uh-huh. Samuel.
Reconstruction era, like terrorism, like taking
Okay, Jalen, you ready?
Ooh, there's a lot.
Said how many?
Just give me one.
The NIL, the taking money from athletes.
I mean, that's probably a new thing. I'm talking about before, but we can talk about that later.
fault.
See, Jalen not paying attention. So we're talking about different things, and we're talking about people in positions of power using their authority to keep Black people in certain positions. And so in this particular meeting, this audio, what they were talking about was diluting Black power, power, political representation, cutting up the districts, the council districts, to be more favorable to them. And so when you have people who are conspiring, and then you look at things like the explosion of homelessness on Skid Row, you look at things as who's getting the jobs in those areas, you look at things that they've passed that basically said people who just immigrated to this country can hold government jobs, while your unemployment rate, especially the Black unemployment rate, is sky high. So I just wanted to put this out there to you. When you hear or when you think about politicians, what they're supposed to be doing in that seat, and you hear them conspiring against Black people, what comes to mind? Anaya.
Come back to me, please.
Okay, Jada.
It makes me feel unsafe to know that there are people in positions of power, not who favor us, but who don't see us as a priority or see us as some people that they should be taken care of as well. They don't put us in that group of let's make sure these people have what they need. We're kind of just on the back burner all the time. And it's a little scary because if something horrible happened, we know we wouldn't be on first priority, no matter what it is. We'd be like, oh, we'll look into it. And it makes me feel a little unsafe.
Melissa.
I'm not surprised. The entire reason we have this podcast is to talk about people who don't care about Black people. So especially in positions of power, and we see something new every single week. I'm not surprised, and it's very hurtful. Like Jada said, it makes me feel unsafe because it's so clear that we are uncared for and that people feel like we don't matter. And like she said, if something terrible were to happen and these people in positions of power have the opportunity to make it better for us or to help us, it's clear that they wouldn't.
And then I've been seeing a lot about Black and brown solidarity. These were brown politicians talking about Black people and what they needed to do to make sure that they were straight. So when you hear that and then you hear the trope, the Black and brown trope, do you see it differently, or what do you think, Samuel?
Like which trope are you specifically talking?
Say Black and brown together as if we are the same group, we have the same issues, we need the same things.
It's obviously not. It's not true. It's so annoying. Like brown people, like Latinos, have certain issues that they need to get dealt with, and we have our specific issues that, as Black people, that we need, like police brutality. That's not really sky high in the brown community, but in the Black community, it's like we're seeing something new every week.
And we're definitely going to get to that because we do have another story that Melissa sent yesterday that we will touch on, because I'm actually tired. I'm not hurt. I'm not angry. I mean, I'm not hurt. I'm not sad. This is the type of thing. This was just a microcosm of what we're seeing, what I saw on a daily basis at the state capitol. Okay. These are the type of conversations that have different folks who come in thinking that they're representing the community, come in and tell Black people that they are not going to make as much as somebody else for the same job because they're not as smart, right? Or the fact that you wouldn't get promoted because you were Black, but they have all these plus jobs that they reserve for their group. And so when we're talking about these type of things, and I really, really hate when they group Black and brown together, because especially in the school system, because what tends to happen is they use Black kids statistics to go in and argue for their group to get more resources. And they have resources that are being directed to their group because Black kids don't get to benefit from English as a second language. Right. And so when we have these conversations and we have these people in place, and I have to tell y'all, because I'm getting a little hot under the collar, I had he wasn't Latino. I had an Asian school board member come into my office and basically gaslight me about the statistics that are coming out of they're not Lorene's numbers. They came out of the Black Minds Matter Institute. And he wanted me to go in and do some work to get updated figures. That ain't my job. That's his damn job. And then he called and accused me of being, what did he say that I was, Jalen? What did he tell me?
Oh, he said that you called him a little boy.
He said that I called him a little boy as if I don't have any political acumen. And so we went back and forth, and I'm trying to get off the phone, and this person had me on the phone, and I believe he was trying to record me because I kept hearing the ooh in the background, like, you know what I mean? And I believe that because I'm such an effective advocate for Black children, this particular school board member decided to get on my phone and start with this anti-Black stuff. Now, again, I'm not that one. You picked the right one on the wrong day, because I see this and I hear this stuff, and then they go on business as usual. And then he turns around and tells me, well, immigrants and Black people are the same. They have the same issues.
No,
And I'm just,
no.
I'm trying to figure out where the hell these people get off. I'm really trying to figure it out, because I walked through that museum in DC and I looked at it. It's not hard to figure out or find out information if you're looking. I walked through that museum and I saw Black children sold for $1. I saw Black children being left in the wills of people who are dying to their children. And it said them and their future earnings. And I'm trying to figure out, how did we get here? How did we get here? What do you think, Anaya? I'm coming to you. You gonna talk today.
I think it's ignorance. It's repeating history in a different form, if that makes sense.
Well, what's the saying? If you don't know your history,
You're doomed to repeat it.
And so, what do you think, Jada? How do you think we got here?
I think we got here basically what Anaya said, off of ignorance. They see the issue. They don't care for it because we're not their people. We don't look like them. So therefore they feel like they can treat us any kind of way. And no matter how many issues we may bring up to them, because they are in a higher position, they feel like they don't have to listen to us, or they just don't want to. They feel like because of where they are, they can do whatever they please. And that has affected us as Black people for generations and generations. And it is unfair, but unfortunately, it is our history, as much as I wish it wasn't.
Mm-hmm. And so, what is the responsibility of people who are elected? What is the responsibility, Jalen?
To serve the people.
What people? The people they like?
Everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's to serve everybody.
So their responsibility is to serve everybody. So when you hear conversations of people talking and they're only concerned with one group or their group or themselves, do you think they're fit for office, Melissa?
Absolutely not. It doesn't make sense. Like, you can go in with your intentions to help your community, but you can't go in and forget about everyone else. And then on top of that, talk badly about someone else and their community. And it's crazy because that someone was recording that one specific meeting. I wonder what happened in those other meetings that were not recorded. What were the things that were said? Because it is obviously not the first time.
And I would say that it's not. Go ahead, Jada.
Hearing that is scary. They were talking about an infant. I guess that went over my head at first when you said it, but they're not talking about a teenager or a grown man. They're talking about a baby. And that's kind of scary. Like, you would want to inflict harm on a Black child? Like, that's what you find appropriate?
And she was laughing, little changuito, a little monkey. Yeah.
Oh my.
And so he's an adopted child. He's adopted by 2 white males. That's a whole nother conversation, in my opinion. But I'm just wondering, because that can't be the only Black children that they see around them. And the other thing that pisses me off, and I'm really trying to keep my emotions in check. This lady came from the school board. This city council person was previously on the school board. So you have this anti-Black rhetoric, this part of her being, this is who she is, and she was in charge of the education of children that included Black children. And I'm trying to figure out what took them so long to get rid of her. And had this tape not come out, she would have still been there doing what she's doing, gerrymandering up the maps to keep herself and them other jokers in power. Now, prior to us going live, she has since resigned her council seat. Good riddance. Now, there are two more. One of them, matter of fact, both of them were at the Capitol when I was at the Capitol. One of them was the Senate Pro Tem, Mr. De Leon. I remember being in the hallway with 3 other people. Shout out to Conrad Crump. And I remember us standing there, and at the Capitol, you can't be more than 3 of y'all together, or the CHP will walk over, or somebody else will walk over. And he came over there, and the first thing he said out of his mouth was "Assalamu alaikum."
What do I look like?
And I just turned around and I looked at him, and I said, "Okay, so apparently you're assuming that I'm Muslim, I'm Christian." I'm like, that was bizarre. And so I have the picture I'm gonna show y'all one day, but it was just like, so he has a way that he sees Black people. I'll just say that. He has a way. But also when you have people that are in power and you have other people who may be kind of sympathetic to the cause, right? Like the district attorney, Mr. Gascon, she said, "F that guy, he's with the Blacks."
Oh.
Now you're the city council president. And she said, the district attorney is with the Blacks. F him. So it's so bizarre. Samuel, I saw your eyes get wild. Like, what's up?
So are we talking about the same guy that said that a 3-year-old is a
This is
little
a
monkey?
woman. This is a woman.
Oh, yeah. So the president said that woman was with the Blacks?
No, the woman is the city council president.
Oh,
And she
okay.
said, F the DA. He's with the Blacks.
But they want to talk about Black and
What-
brown. That's so bizarre. Because I think we were at a NAN conference, and I had I don't know if y'all know who Fat Joe is, but he had the
He's
audacity to come on stage and say that Black people and brown people were the same because they were slaves too. I was appalled. I was like, "Are we for real?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, we got some slave in us too, and we need to stand together. We don't need to be apart."
No.
And what did we do?
We got up and walked out. I
Facts.
looked at my mom like, "Is he being for real?" He got slave in him. Bro, I would
Why?
never say
First of
that.
all,
Like,
saying
what?
you have.
Come on, Melissa, what?
Saying you have slave in you, that's not a flex. Like, why are you
For
saying
real.
that? Like why?
Don't be
Like, I don't
happy
understand,
that your
right?
ancestors were tortured. Like,
Yeah, and I don't understand. And then when they group themselves with us, it's not benefiting them either. They're taking away from their actual issues. When they, like you said, they're going to try and get resources for their community using our numbers. Use your numbers, because that's going to help you get the actual help that you need. You're getting the help that we need, and you're not actually solving your problems at all. That's not benefiting them either when they group us together.
And you're taking away from our problems. Like, we have
Right.
problems, but then you lump yourself with us to get what you guys don't need, and then yet taking away from what we need.
Yep, because what ends up happening is they put us in a group, and then they solve their problems and say, "See, we solved the Black and brown issue." No, you solved the brown issue. You didn't solve the Black issue. So
I'm gonna add. Also, I have sort of a problem with people saying Black and brown. This is a little off topic, but at my school, the N-word is used a lot.
yes,
It's used by the Hispanic community more than the Black community. So for me, it's like, if y'all want to stand and be with us so bad, stop saying the slur that was used against us. Like, that's not
especially when you
with
harbor
us.
these type of ideologies.
And I
Right.
think that somebody, for that reason, somebody had used the excuse, oh, the OGs, the black OGs let us use it back in the day, so y'all are tripping, y'all are just sensitive. We're
But
not
if-
sensitive, we're waking up.
but
They
if
should have
I-
checked y'all back then.
But if
Ooh,
I
come
were
on
to
with the
say a
wake up.
slur, if I were to say a slur, I'd be a racist.
Right. Well, let me ask you something. As you guys have been growing up, what have your parents told you about how you treat people?
Same way you would want to be treated.
Yeah, treat people the way you want to be treated. I feel like it wasn't even, not saying
Did
that.
they say except for if they're any other race or culture?
No.
What were you guys, how were you guys raised? Do you like, I can tell you, for me, I never saw a difference between the different types of black people. I just saw flat blackness, right?
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
I've never really thought about not being close with other people of other races. I've had friends of all races, still have friends of all races,
Mhm.
right? And so to hear somebody openly conspire like they hate you when you're going around and you're embracing everybody, hello, Congressional Black Caucus, with your talking points. You're embracing everybody, but you're never really looking out for self or your own community because that's just not how we were raised, right?
Mhm.
And so as we're waking up, Jada, what is our responsibility to one another? And oh, Sam, do you have your hand up? Is that what you're doing? Talk
Yes,
to me.
I wanted to say, like, in the schools, they teach you always, well, you gotta treat people like you want to be treated, but the schools don't represent that. The schools themselves don't.
Come on, Sam.
Oh, bro.
The schools themselves don't even treat their students like they want to be treated. Like, what? Then what is the whole point of this branding that you treat other people like you want to be treated if you're not treating other people like they want to be, like you want to be treated? Makes no sense.
Understood. I mean, I think that's a great point because they really suck at that. They suck at making sure, because I go to different meetings all the times and they talk about, well, belongingness. What does it take for you to feel like you belong? Melissa, what is it
I
going to
want
take?
I want to feel like I matter. I want to feel cared for. I want to feel like you care for me, especially in schools where I am away from home for hours every single day. I want to know that you care about me and that I'm going to be safe here. I want those connections from those teachers, from those administrators, and I want the connections. They let students know that you care about me, that we can tell when a teacher doesn't like us, and we can tell when a teacher likes us. We can tell when the admin is going to come in and give us a hard time, and we can tell when you're going to be on our side if something goes down. So I want to feel cared for. I want to feel like you want to be here. And if you had a bad day, I had a bad day too. Don't take it out on me because I'm a student and I'm a person. I want to feel like I'm cared for, and I want to feel like a person in your hands.
Right.
And so, we have a couple of more stories to get to. And I was just looking at this comment. And unfortunately, during this week, I've seen much more on Twitter about how people are being mishandled in doctors' offices. And Jenny, I hope that you will connect with us and make sure Little Man is connected with us so we can surround him. Because that is not okay. Jenny's talking about in the comment that basically she had the police called on her because her child had a birthmark on his backside. And they thought it was a bruise, or he was basically being abused. And so they had to verify that with the doctor. That reminds me of the story that I just heard. The black girl was walking through the store. The white lady looks in, sees the light-skinned baby, and calls the police,
Oh, yeah.
thinking that she stole the baby. Like, we don't come in all shades and stuff. And I don't know no black people running around really stealing babies like we try to get babysitters around here. I don't know nobody who's doing all that. But it's just like, it's this pervasive mindset. That's why I'm trying to drive the point home that mindset that was on full display in LA is permeating throughout every system, every institution that we frequent. And as we're talking about that, I know that around here, close to here in Northern California, we've had 2 high schools have to forfeit their football season because one decided to do a mock slave auction. The other one had a group text. Was it a slave auction group text, Jalen? What was it?
I think it was either a slave auction and group text, or they cropped out a monkey and put it on somebody's face or something. It was something that had to do with something like that.
Mm-hmm. So they little kids are taking on
And Vista.
this well, and then another football incident over at Vista del Lago. Somebody decided to go into the visiting team's locker room and scroll FU DC niggers. And so after playing a game, that's what they came into. The school district has not released a statement because they are looking to investigate. Of course, it's always an investigation, right? And so again, we have thing after thing after thing happening, and we're wondering why it's happening. First of all, I would like to say that they're not teaching the true and correct history. Because if they were, they'd be scared to do this type of stuff, because real people who are about that life would have a response. Number two, the thing that bothered me the most on those mock slave auctions were Black boys participating.
Right.
I was
Yes.
appalled. I was like,
Yes.
who raised you? We need Matt
Yes.
today.
We're gonna have to have Matt do
Your
the sound
mama-
bite.
Your mama know you over here pretending to be a
Right.
slave?
Like,
Like, are we being for real?
and they think it's funny to, let me fit it with my friends. They not your friends.
Hey, it's not your friends, bro. They making a fool out of you because you look like a fool right now.
I'm trying to fit in
Making
with,
black people look so
like, you're against yourself.
Whole mood, baby. Melissa, they participated. What the hell?
You could not get me to participate. I would walk out of the class. I'd write an email to the teacher myself. I had a history teacher last year that asked me to define the pros of colonization. Didn't do it. Did not do the assignment. Same thing. I would not have done this. You are not going to ask me to get up in front of a class and relive some trauma that I haven't even personally experienced, but that affects me every single day. I'm not participating in that. And that teacher needs to be fired. The kids that participated in that, because they're adding gas to that fire, the people that participated in that, the ones that stood by and didn't say anything, they all need consequences, because that's unacceptable.
It's just like you standing here as a black person. How you gonna do this? $5.
That's what I'm saying,
$5, 10. Do I hit 10?
Like, we being for real? Like, I know that this generation is desensitized to a lot of things, but this was just plain stupid.
And
Like-
disrespectful.
Like, and disrespectful to your black people. Oh my God. It was just so appalling because it was like y'all actively participated in this. Like, this was funny.
So let me tell y'all a secret, because I heard a little something about this situation, because I got my ear to the
There's the streets.
So the boys who participated, the Black boys who participated, got longer suspensions than the other boys
Of course.
that were selling them.
No, that's
I'm not surprised.
Really?
Oh man.
Really, River Valley. Matter of fact, I know Lisa's listening. We need to contact River Valley. We need to go see them, because again, the amount of idiocy that we are dealing with. Somebody is a few cans short of a 6-pack, and they don't understand that because they have melanin, they will always be dealt with more harshly than other children. But what I also saw in that locker room was a bunch of brown faces.
Hmm.
So we can't always make this black and white. There is anti-blackness in multiple places, and we need to start calling that out. I'm just so disgusted. What I will say is their mamas can't be black. They can't be. Their mamas cannot be black. And I'm assuming, because I think this is what I heard, they all have white mamas. And they thought it was funny. And they didn't see a big deal because nobody's teaching them.
Right.
But should somebody have to, and I guess somebody would have to teach them if they don't know no better. And I have to give them grace because they're children. But at the same time, at some point,
You know what's wrong from right.
do they? Is that because you know?
It's because I know. It's because I'm
It's
educated. I forget, but some people are ignorant.
Like,
And it's just so much. And it's like we are constantly asked to carry this load for everybody. I have one school district that's asking me to come in and talk to Black kids about the use of the N-word. And I just have to put this out there. I'm not doing that. And I'm gonna tell you why. What How people use African American vernacular English, Black people use it, is how they use it. What I say at home amongst my kin is none of your damn business. And I'm not going to try and go and tone police anybody else. Right now, what I told them was, yeah, non-Black people can use the word, but they're not immune to the consequences of that. So they should probably make sure they know who they're saying it around. Right. But I have a problem. They want to focus on the N-word. But what about these anti-Black policies and these discipline policies and these teachers targeting students in classrooms, or other students believing that they can bully other kids and the kids respond and they're put up for expulsion? Like, let's talk about disproportionate discipline. Let's talk about exclusionary discipline. Let's talk about identifying Black preschoolers as emotionally disturbed. Let's talk about all that. Let's talk about all that. But what we're not going to do is talk about the N-word. How Black people choose to use the N-word is Black people's business.
And I feel like the only reason why they want to tone police us on how we use the N-word is because they can't say it. And so they feel like, well, if we can't say it, then y'all can't say it. That's not how that works.
I mean, they could say it, but they're not immune to the
don't
consequences
say
of
it
saying
around
it.
me. That's the only warning I'm going to give you.
Come
Don't
on.
say it
And I
around
see
me.
Sam's trying to jump in here. Melissa, you
It's
could
just
jump
like-
in too.
And then you don't wanna punish non-Black people, teachers, non-Black teachers, saying like, if you were in a different part of the world, you would be called a nigger. Like, what?
Yeah, didn't that happen yesterday at Sheldon High School?
And
Sheldon.
yeah,
What
yeah.
happened at
Uh-oh,
Sheldon?
we can get into that.
And I don't remember the teacher's name, or I'd put her on blast. But that happened yesterday
Yep.
to a Black student in class. If you were from a different part of this country or a different part of somewhere, you would be a nigger. In front of the whole class, called her by her name and made the statement.
it was
What
actually-
do we expect our children to do?
My thing is,
What you
why
saying,
is-
Sam? Hold on real quick.
Sorry,
Sammy, I
it-
keep cutting you
it-
off.
It was actually two students. It was a girl and a boy.
Oh, it was two students.
Oh, she meant it.
Uh-huh. So what are you saying, Anaya?
I was gonna say, why does it matter what we would have been called somewhere else?
Because they want to make an
Like,
excuse.
She wanted to
Why
say
are
the word.
you- Oh my gosh.
She wanted an
She's like, well,
excuse.
She wanted to
technically,
say the
because
word.
they say it over there, I can technically
Right.
say
And my
it
thing
here.
is like, why did she bring it up? Like,
I don't know, and I don't know the context of the conversation, but I will be asking because it's never okay. And I heard that another teacher overheard her and told her it wasn't okay, and she's doubling down.
Oh.
Again, I don't have no love loss on any of these campuses. It would be in everybody's best interest to figure out how to do the right thing before we get involved. But no, that mama, no. Her mama didn't
I'll
meet
let
the
you for a
teacher after
second.
school. I need to holler. No, but I can say that mom is keeping baby girl home until they can figure out if this campus is safe for them.
What was the
Schools
child's
are
response?
openly hostile.
What was the child's response?
I don't know. I have not spoken to the child. I plan to. But again, we send our children into these openly hostile environments. And at what point do you think, if a student hears that they will be able to recalibrate and get back on task to then do your lesson that you're doing in class? Is that an unfair expectation?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Melissa, is it unfair?
I would have walked out.
Absolutely. I'm not doing this lesson. And the way she said, if you were in a different part of the world, this is what you would be called. Like, you did not just call me that right now in this part of the world.
exactly.
I'm
exactly.
sorry. Like, it makes no sense at all. I'm not doing your assignment.
Like, at all?
I would have walked out.
My thing is, I don't understand how she expects for the girl to come back and be taught by her.
Right.
Or that the school may expect that she go back and be taught by her.
Yes, like, no, I'm mentally
Change
chalked after that.
classes.
What did you say, Sam?
Because what I remember, the only two Black students in the class. They were called out. They were saying, one, I think it was either the girl or boy, I forgot. But they said, if you were in a different part of the world, you will be a Negro. And then I think it was the boy. And then talk to the boy. If you were shipped to a different part of the world, you will be a nigger or a Negro. So
Shipped.
Now we're at layers. We're at
Right.
layers.
Like,
And girl, listen, all I know is these districts better get their damn teachers, because I'm not that child, and you can't control how I'm going to come off to you, because I believe in matching energy. And what they will say, they will feign ignorance, right? Oh, I didn't know that it would be harmful. I was just using it as part of my lesson. You better revamp your damn lesson, because we're not putting up with it. And so we'll be dealing with that soon.
Can't wait.
I'm just tired, y'all. I'm tired. I'm tired of people who should know better. I'm tired of their children who they ain't taught nothing, that they're going to put in really precarious situations if they don't get themselves together. I'm just really, really tired. And it's not just white people. Anti-Blackness comes in all shapes and sizes. And we can look to the people in LA who you can find multiple pictures of them in there with high profile Black folks just yucking it up, keying and all that good stuff. But they're harboring this in their heart. And I have never been raised to hate anybody, but some of this behavior makes me hate the antics or the actions, right? And it's just like, how do we get folks to understand that this will no longer be tolerated? Samuel?
I think that I also want to say lastly that I think that people use when they say racist things or do racist things, they'd be like, well, I was ignorant. At some point you gotta know what you're doing. At some point you gotta acknowledge, you have to understand at some level what you are doing. Because ignorance is like not knowing and being oblivious. You're obviously knowing how you're delivering this, being like, that little monkey needs to learn some respect. That's not ignorance. You know what you're saying.
that's just blatant racism. Like, there's a line between ignorance and being racist because you know you're racist.
But they're
Like-
protected, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
They're
They can-
protected.
'cause they can say all the passive aggressive stuff all they want to.
Mhm.
Oh,
What are
you're-
they? What are those called? The passive aggressive thing.
Microaggressions.
Microaggressions.
They're
Oh,
kind of macroaggressions at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, honestly, like there's not even
like they
micro-
say,
it's
like
just-
they say, implicit bias. No, y'all explicitly biased at this point. Like, we got to change our language and how we are expecting people to interact with us. And the other thing, and Mama, you brought it up. You know, I know it's their job to know, but just bringing it back to that conversation in LA, they were talking about yesterday at the council meeting. They were talking about the demographics of folks getting jobs in LA, right? And they say you can, like, they've been building those stadiums, they've been building all kinds of structures in LA, and they say when you go by, you only see Latino workers, right? And then you have these people who have been openly conspiring behind closed doors. Of course, they weren't openly conspiring. They were secretly conspiring to keep Black people in certain areas. And I thought, if I'm not mistaken, the Brown Act says that they can't have side conversations with more than one person. I'd have to look at the Brown Act rules, but I believe there were some violations in that meeting, because not only were they discussing city business, they were discussing the labor impacts with somebody, and they were saying that, oh, well, we can't have certain Black people in that seat. We have to find a Black person that's going to be on our side. So they're looking for tokens, and we've been tokenized. We will sell ourselves out to the highest bidder. We don't do our politics right. We forgot politics is an exchange. It is not a gift. Shout out to Yvette Carnell. We forget how to maneuver in this space because we too busy over here trying to sing Kumbaya. We better wake up and figure out what's going on around us and start demanding that people respond accordingly. We've been asleep at the wheel. So I'm asking y'all to wake up. Y'all, the next generation, some of y'all are getting ready to vote. Don't just vote for anybody who has a D or an R by their name. You better figure out what they're going to do for your community. And if y'all don't understand anything else about how politics works, politics is an exchange. What is an exchange?
You give and you get.
You give and you get. So we can't be ski-weeing our way to the White House because she openly said, I'm not going to do anything for specifically for Black people. Black people shouldn't have voted for her. We got to listen to what people are saying. Joe Biden said, if you don't vote for me, you ain't Black. Guess what? I'm not. So we have to listen because nobody has put forth an agenda for our community. Nobody is talking about how to repair the harm in our community, the reparative justice. What we have been used as is mules to do the work for everybody else while they benefit from our numbers and our positioning to get things for themselves. And we got to keep it a buck. We got to. All this smiling in people's faces and just being happy to be in the room, bump that. I'm going to come in the room. I'm going to kick the door open. I'm going to bring my own chair and table. It makes no sense. I'm tired of asking, and y'all should be too. They know what's going on. You agree, Melissa? Do they know what's going on?
Absolutely. It's 2022. You know exactly what's going on. And like Sam said, you can only be ignorant so many times before you're not ignorant anymore. Like you know. You know exactly what you're doing. You know what you're doing, and you need to get it together if you're going to be in a position of power.
And that's serving everybody. Because we are the only people who will consider everybody. And it's been that way. Shout out to the civil rights movement that everybody used to jump off for their own communities. We've always been concerned about everybody. And what this audio made me happy, and I'm going to tell you why. Now you know exactly who they are. Respond accordingly. When people show you who they are,
Believe them.
Yeah.
Believe them. And stop trying to make fetch happen. We still be trying to, but just let me be up in here. Let me come over there. Let me be in your rooms. Let me join your BSU. No. Some spaces have to be reserved for Black children. Period. This is not for everybody. You want everybody to be in the club? Make a everybody club. All student unions.
Student union.
All lives matter it.
Students who are Black.
Yeah.
Come here.
And then they tell me, oh, well, technically we can't keep other kids out of BSU. And I'm like, technically you may be right. But I don't see no red carpets rolling out for any of the other clubs where they're saying, hey, Black kids, come on up in here.
Right.
Come up in here. Come and tell us your issues.
And at my school, no other race other than Black races worried about Black issues. So I don't see nobody who's not Black trying to join BSU because they simply do not care.
That's interesting because if you look at all these other clubs, they right there. They right there in the BSU. And my thing is, I'd be like, why are you here? Who sent you? What you trying to find out?
Oh, that happened with us with BSU. 2 kids, the race will stay unnamed, but they were not Black. They came and they're like, oh, it said your meeting was on the newsletter. I was like, I don't know who told you that. I went on the newsletter, nothing was there. So the advisor was like, who sent them? Why did they decide to come to the officers' meeting for BSU? That was very interesting.
You got some spies on the inside.
But you also have that same mentality where everybody's welcome, saying BSU should be all inclusive. If the issues weren't as pervasive for Black children, I might agree. Yeah. But right now I disagree. Right. Black children need a space for just them. And if they can't have it on their school campuses, they can definitely have it over here because we're not playing that. And I believe that y'all need a place where you can talk openly without fear of somebody running that information back and trying to shut the club down. That's just my opinion. Sam, what do you think? Should BSU be open to everybody?
It's just like BSU, Black Student Union. What does black mean? What does student mean? What does union mean? You know what a union is, right? You know what a black person is, right? You know what a black student is, right? So you know.
And I think they like to use the fact of like, oh, well, we want to know about your issue so we can help. I think that is cool. You want to
Open
know
the
how you
book.
can be a ally and abolitionist, like we have a BASN, but we
It's
also have
AA.
I said that.
Bassin.
I just smushed
Mhm.
my A's together.
Yeah.
But no, but we also have something separate for black students. We have BGSN, we have BBSN. That's for black boys and black girls. BAASN is for whoever wants to be an ally and abolitionist. And I feel like if you think that if you want something like that at your school, make something like that. But I feel like BSU should be specifically for black students. Black students uniting together to make a difference in their campus. So yeah.
What about you? What about you, Jalen?
It's just I just don't understand why we have to include everybody when we're not included in everything. You know, just like you said,
I knew he was
I'm
going to do
gonna
that.
chop
I
you.
knew he was gonna do
just like you said, we have been so trained to include everybody
that. Mhm.
in everything, and while other people have been trained to exclude us from
Mm.
everything.
Right.
Just like the lady said, oh, we're worried about what we have to do. We don't care about what the black people have to do, or FMUs with the blacks.
Mhm.
So it's in their culture to exclude us. But us, we make stuff for everybody.
You need to stop.
That's just how we are. We make stuff for everybody, and everybody is appropriating our culture.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But then as soon as it comes to be black, everybody wants to be black until it's time to be black.
They can take off their costume. We cannot.
Yeah.
Mm.
Everybody wants to dress up as black people on Halloween. People want to go sing rap lyrics at concerts. But then when it's time to go and do black issues, where are you guys at? You guys
Well, they're there for the first 2 weeks, maybe.
When it's popular on social media.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. They
When
show
it's
up.
oh,
Mhm.
they're an ally. I like them.
Mhm.
Mm-mm.
People put BLM in their bios to make them seem like they're with us. What
Or
are you
like-
doing for us?
Or the TikTokers with their profile picture, Black Lives Matter.
Or the one when George Floyd died, and then
Mhm.
everybody was putting the black.
Yeah.
Everybody had a blank black screen that said,
We
"We stand with you."
Mhm.
Black Lives
Shout out
Matter
to those people. I wish they would materialize again because we need some more donations because we got some work we want to get done. So if you feeling generous, go ahead and slide those DMs to our Cash App at BYLP, or I'm sorry, $ BYLP, or you can give them PayPal through our website BYLP.org because it's serious work out here and it's time consuming, and a lot of times we don't have time for folks to just show up for 5 minutes and then disappear because black people been showing up every day, all the time, since before the civil rights movement, for everybody. For everybody. So don't be talking to me about what's that Supreme Court lady that died? The one that everybody trying to wear her little stuff and she wouldn't even hire black people. Miss me with all that. Ging, what's her name?
RBG.
Oh yeah, her.
Yeah,
Wouldn't even hire black people. Get out of here. Stop it. People are talking about the Queen of England. Do you know
Oh
what
my
she
Oh
did?
my God, I
Oh,
don't.
Stop it.
Not the queen.
We don't.
Stop it.
We
Not
don't
the
stand
queen.
that.
Stop it.
Everybody wants to act she was just an innocent little old lady.
Every time.
That's
Every
goodness.
I'm about to punch you. Every time somebody passes away, one of these white folks, they be out here, they be passing away, and everybody be like, oh Lord, not so and so. Listen, stop it.
You know you don't
Stop
like
it. Stop it.
You don't even know what they did.
You don't even
Saying,
know
all
why
right,
you
We're
like
so
'em.
consumed with being entertained, with being loved, with people seeing us as valuable. We got to stop it and start seeing ourselves that way. We're looking for validation in the wrong places. We're trying to ask people to include us. We got to stop. It's madness at this point. So we have elections coming up. I think they said yesterday we were 30 days out. 30 days out elections. They asked me yesterday, was I excited to vote? And I looked dead in that reporter's face. I absolutely not. And they said, why? I said, Republicans, Democrats, different wings on the same bird. One is overtly racist, the other is covertly racist. And all these people in that conversation were Democrats in LA. Every single one of them. So what I got to be excited, you get excited. What I got to be excited for? These are the conversations that are happening that we are unaware of. And it's disgusting. Melissa, last night you sent a text message to the group chat and you put in a picture of something that's going on in Gulfport, Mississippi. Was that Mississippi?
I sent two things.
Okay,
so
we'll talk to
which one.
One you sent. Okay, you sent slave narrative. I believe this was a college assignment. So talk to me about that, and then we'll go to the last thing.
Yeah, so that was a college assignment at San Diego State University. And that is, I'm looking at colleges right now, and that is the college my dad went to, and he wants me to go there. So that popped up on my feed, and it was an assignment from a teacher, and this was a Black student that reposted this, and the caption said, should never have to act like and create a slave persona for one of my Africana studies classes. But hey, at least my professor canceled the in-class presentations where she wanted us to act and dress in our personas.
So I got a couple questions. First of all,
I have a lot of questions.
Africana studies. Was the teacher white?
That's my question.
Right.
And it says students will read selected excerpts from slave narratives determining common characteristics and then write your own slave narratives as a slave from the region of Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, I think it's North Carolina, Tennessee, and Mississippi, researching for the historical accuracy and incorporating elements of the slave to demonstrate understanding. And I'm only laughing because that's the dumbest assignment ever.
Right.
And the crazy thing is, I've heard other people at other schools having to make a slave narrative. So it's not just
What is the significance?
Is okay.
don't
So
know.
maybe I just don't understand, but I see an issue, but I think I need a clear perspective on it.
What do you mean?
Because I feel like she's teaching history, but I don't know.
But is she? Do I have to take the position of an oppressed person to learn history?
No.
What's the difference? What's the difference between this and the slave auctions? I don't see a difference between this and the slave auctions that they made them get up and do. Creating a persona and writing. I don't know. And having.
Let me help y'all out. This is like somebody teaching a class on Jewish history and say, I want you to act like somebody from the internment camp. I want you to take the persona of a person who was ripped out of their home and put into a concentration camp in Germany and see how fast that class and that teacher don't get fired.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, we got to keep it a buck. Like, seriously, it's different rules for different folks. And we have always been subjected to this type of stuff in our classes. I wish I would write something from a slave persona. For why? For what reason?
It's such a weird thing. Like, I don't understand where the teacher's coming from. I can understand about the teacher wanting to teach history. Teach history. Have them read books. But why do I need to act like I'm putting myself in that position in order to learn? I can learn and be aware of what happened by reading and by you teaching me as a teacher.
And Sam, I see you, but I just want to let me read something else and Sam jump in. It says, discuss entries found in a diary, events, thoughts, questions, goals, dreams, plans. 2, create a slave persona, name, age, gender, what type of household you live in, what kind of person or family owns you, what kind of work you're expected to do, any relatives you may have, do you live with those relatives, anything else that might be important.
Yeah, no,
I'm
good.
with hot water cornbread. I want to be Nat Turner too. Sammy, talk to me.
So this persona, this narrative is supposed to be, well, Master, he's white and his last name is Francisco. So Master be like, pick that cotton, boy. What do you expect?
She wanted that. That's what the teacher wanted.
Exactly what you wanted.
Come up with your own story. Make it just like
I
that.
mean, like, I'm leading the slave revolt. I've been in
Right.
here. We done stole the guns out of Master's house. When he go to sleep, I'm gonna blow his head off.
And we cutting up for the
just
rest.
so
Harriet came
We
out
I mean,
my
cutting
door
up.
this
since we
night.
taking on a
It's so
persona.
crazy.
Burning everything.
And it's like
Harriet
they
came by.
Everything getting
it's
burnt.
like they ask us to do this, but they're not teaching us the history to even support what they're asking us to do. Not saying that it should be supported, but like, you're gonna ask me to do this like I was there, like I know, but you're not even gonna teach me about the history, the real history about what
You don't
happened.
want to teach about the history, but want to make a little skit
Nat
out
Turner,
of it.
Nat
I'm
Turner,
good.
Nat Turner. I see you. For
It's
sure.
like, what else do they want? Master, he whipped 5 slaves instead of 10 today. Improvement. I don't know. I don't know.
And wait, did it say diary entries?
Yes,
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah.
Since when were we allowed to write and read?
If you want,
girl.
you right.
I'm sorry.
Like,
You're asking me to pull from information that does not even
And
exist.
that's why they need to teach it, because it's like, do you even know the history to be asking me
need
to
to
read
go
and
back
write
to
in the
school.
time? Like,
You go back to school. You go back
I
to
didn't
school.
even think about that one over my head.
You know what it sounds like? It sounds like the teacher wanted her black students to go back to,
just
To
to
Yeah.
that other part of
That's
the
what I
country that
heard.
they
Yeah.
would be niggas
Yeah.
at, huh?
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
He said,
Yeah.
you experienced this. I can't enslave y'all, but I'm going to get you so close.
It's like, I want you to take on the persona of somebody with smallpox because somebody came over with an infected blanket and the Indians gave it to you. Go.
Right. Like, that's weird.
I mean, come on. Like, it's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Melissa, your last story.
The last one was that the one I sent like 4 of
The
them.
young,
The one where,
so the 15-year-old boy.
okay, so the caption of this is, I don't understand how this is going unnoticed. These people shot this kid in his head with his hands in the air and then put him in handcuffs afterwards.
And he was also
After
shot
they
other
decided to shoot
times.
him.
And they
in
did
other
like
parts of his
7 body
body.
shots
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So
Oh my
15-year-old
God.
boy.
Yeah.
He was riding in a car with, I want to say, 4 of his friends.
Mhm.
They were pulled over, asked to get out of the car while he's walking away from the car. Allegedly, they said the report that they got was that kids were in a car and they were waving guns. Isn't this always how they do?
Always.
Yeah.
Because they fit
And
the
so,
description.
yeah. So they bring the boys out. He's walking away and they shoot him in his head. And I believe he did not make it. Is that correct? I'm sure he did not make it.
Yeah, he didn't make it.
and then have the audacity to put him in handcuffs.
After they shot him, after, like Miss Lauren said,
No,
he didn't
yeah,
make
like-
it, and then they put him in handcuffs.
You're like, that is so.
I'm like,
That makes me sick.
The definition, the actions show, shoot first, ask questions later. That's literally what happened.
Literally.
And I'm not saying it's an excuse, but this wasn't even like a body shot. You know how they'd be like, "Oh, I
Yeah.
thought he pulled a gun, so I shot him in the chest." Or you shot him in his
His-
head. His
and
head.
his hands-
Police. Go ahead.
His hands were up. He walked away with, multiple witnesses said his hands were up.
Yeah. Body cam would show that. And my thing is like, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't the rule with police like if you feel an oncoming threat, that's when you take action? He was walking away. How is his back threatening anybody?
in his head.
It's
So-
a trend where police officers, or at least what I see, when police officers kill black men, black boys in this case, they put them in handcuffs. You shot him 8 times, and then you still have the audacity to put him in handcuffs. Like,
That
what
honestly makes
is the matter with you?
I think to show how much power the police have.
Yep.
Like at the end of the day, look what we can still do to your community.
Without
It's
consequence.
that mindset that we heard from them four on that leak tape that says you're not worth my time or my care, concern, or compassion.
Mhm.
That's what it is. And so we have to respond accordingly. And it's unfortunate that we have to continue to see these things over and over and over and over. And nobody in any position of power seems to want to do anything differently. It's disgusting. And so we have an obligation to move some people out the way. And we can do that with our vote. We can do that with our voice. Because what I'm seeing in LA, the more pressure that's being applied to these folks, they're resigning. And maybe that's what we got to get some of these people, instead of going through long, drawn out recalls, start making these jokers resign. If you're not there to serve the people, you can't stay. I heard somebody say, they said, you cannot serve the people if you don't love the people. I think this is Cornel West. You can't love the people if you don't know the people.
Mhm.
Right? And so many times we do this thing in our communities where everybody becomes family, right? So we got uncles over here, we got our cousins, auntie, everybody's mama, you know what I mean? Because we long for those those relationships. I don't know if anybody else does that. So we have to learn to take care of one another. We have to learn to be about our business. We have to be specific about what it is that we're talking about. Black people need to get their politics straight. Black people need to get their community straight. It's what we have to do. So we have run out of time. We are Black versus the Board of Education. We've been keeping it a buck all hour. If you have students and you want them to join us for camp, we have our camp coming up when is it?
November 4th to the 6th.
Oh, okay. Bobsey twins. November 4th through the 6th. We will be heading up to Grizzly Creek Ranch for Hack the Woods 3. If you like this conversation, we're going to be doing some workshops within this same vein. Send your kids. It is absolutely free. Thank you to a grant provided by the city of Sacramento. So we're really excited about that, and our partner, Sierra Nevada Journeys. So we have about, I don't know, we have a couple of slots left, Evan? Couple of slots? All right. So we want to get that packed out. We want to get that packed out. So if you have children, send them our way. Also, we have our Bassin educators who are meeting tonight. Woo woo. 6 o'clock with Miss Lisa and myself. We have our Black educators that are meeting next week on Tuesday. What else are we? What else am I saying? We will be
BGSN and BBSN meeting next Monday.
Okay.
Monday.
6 p.m.
Our young adults that are one of our new support networks, Young Adults Support Network, will be meeting with me on the 25th as we start to cap off of that. So if you're 18 to 26 or 27 or whatever, and you just need a community or a space to be, we are here for you. Is that about it? Did I wrap it up? Did I forget anything? Yes, no? All right. So with that, we're going to hit you with the waves. Sam is going to start us off. Come on, Melissa. Oh, Lord.
That scared the mess out of me too.
Jada. Anaya.
Heaven.
All right. We're going to see y'all next week on Monday. Check us out at 4:30. Oh, I'm sorry. Look at Hot Water Cornbread put there is art release that is that is on Saturday at what time? Put it in the chat real quick. Saturday at what time? Art release. Quickly. Oh, Lord. I don't know.
Thank you, Hot Water Burn Cornbread.
Hot Water Cornbread don't know what time.
Good job, Jada.
Hot Water Cornbread don't know what time. Can somebody bring me the time? Art release. Okay, hold on real quick. Let me see if it's in my calendar, because we want to make sure. So if you have any artistic juices that need to start flowing from 1 to 3 right here at BYLPHQ, we have our art release program. For anybody else, if I have any seniors that want to join me, we are heading down to Berkeley for something. What are we going to?
Berkeley for their open house on Saturday, October 15th.
Okay.
Yes.
So Saturday we're going to Berkeley. You coming?
She's saying she can.
I will not be attending because I will actually be doing a college tour at
Oh my God.
Oh, go ahead, girl.
Talk to me.
Come on, spell me.
I didn't want to lie.
Well, excuse us. We'll get on out your way. So we done already hit y'all with the wave. We'll see you next Monday, 4:30 right here on Facebook and YouTube. We are Black versus the Board of Education. Peace.